Welcome to the Unofficial Controller podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode number 272, with me, George, and this week joined by RGT. I would come up with a joke here, but I think we're past it. How's it going?
Very well. You caught me by surprise there. It's normally, my so-and-so to my so-and-so. So
272 of my so-and-sos to my so-and-sos, and sometimes I have to admit, even I come up with nothing.
I like your so-and-sos. They're good. But no, I'm very well.
Busy I went to the well. Well was dry.
Anyway, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Insert own to my joke here if you want one. Mm-hmm. Hey, I tell you what. He's tomato to my tomato.
Hey, very good.
Thank you.
Thought on the fly as well. Look at that.
Should have tried a bit harder earlier, shouldn't I? But this is where we're at. Here we are, post Switch 2 launch. Worlds took a breather post Summer Games Fest as well. You're thinking up to the minute podcast. They'd be covering that. No. We gave you Switch 2. Don't get greedy. Little piggy by the trough. Look at you. Give me my gaming news. Don't worry, we'll have a bit for you. But before we get there, wipe your mouth, Biggie. It's okay. And if you want to stay wetter than an otter's handkerchief, let me tell you, to the long-term listeners and to the new listeners, get ready, because we're wheeling out the bi-yearly RGT's Hidden Gem.
Yeah, bi-yearly's a bit harsh. But,
how many have you done this so far this year?
3. This is my 3rd, I think. So
far it's 2. So bi-yearly, RGT on current performance.
Maybe bi-monthly.
Twice a month? Or every other month?
Every other month. Sort of.
I like it. Roughly. You made a commitment to the team, the family, the audience.
Yeah.
And you've already let them down.
But just be happy you're getting one. We can soon tap them away.
That's relationship management in the RGT household.
There we go. Do as I say, not as I do.
Wow. I would have thought the threat of removal of a certain something in the RGT household would see a sort of promotion of feel-good factor in the house. I'm talking cheese. You know what you get like if you have too much.
I do, yeah.
You hallucinate. You came around here once. You came round here once, right? And I thought I got rid of all the cheese, but somehow you found a cheese slice just tucked between the ketchup and the mayo. Mm-hmm. I came in and found you freebasing it down a bit of foil, but mate, you were unapproachable.
Oh no, it was complete blank. I don't know what happened. When I woke up, I was in the graveyard in a pair of Y fronts of a unicycle. Don't know what happened.
And the unicycle had a wedding ring on it.
Yep. Those were the days. But yeah, keep me away from cheese.
That was last week.
Yeah, well, I've gone cold turkey for a week, so I'm chuffed with that.
No, you haven't, because I saw you licking a what's it.
Well, it's not real cheese, so it just gives me that little hit. It's not vaping.
I think it's more like methadone.
Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah, you could use methadone.
Yeah. We're in the Attitude era now. Yeah. It's methadone.
Yeah.
Nicotine's not edgy enough. So, we've got that out of the way. Mm-hmm. So the only question people really want to know, RGT, is how did you cure that athlete's foot?
Yes, I did, yes. Yeah.
What have you been playing?
GTA 4 is complete and done.
Wow. Are you back in the modern era now, or?
No, well, yeah, I'm not very happy about that at the moment, but I was looking, I've got some more PS3 games I want to play while I'm waiting for everyone else to finish GTA 4 before our next monthly playthrough. Excuse me. But because I've borrowed the PS3, because mine went a bit shoddy, so I've told my mate he can have his PS3 back. I have ordered a PS3, which so far has not turned up. So
Whoa, give me the griff. What sort of PS3 you ordered? What, where, when, who, and why?
I have ordered a PS3. It's one model I've never had. I have ordered the Super Slim with sliding door attachment.
I was thinking about getting one of these, you know.
And the reason I've gone, because they are the last ones made, so I thought they're probably going to be the most reliable. And I've gone for a blue one, the same colour as your hat wearing there, and blue controllers. Yes, which I've ordered and is gone into a certain delivery firm's network and has got a bit stuck. So
Raw mail.
yes, who the hell would work for them?
Only an idiot or an ex now ripped Russian wrestler.
Ripped, bless him. Yeah, so that hasn't turned up. So there's a few games I've been really wanting to play on my PS3, but I haven't been able to. But anyway, GTA 4 is done.
Pause. Moment of conversation, if I may have one, about your PS3 Super Slim choice. I want to dig into that, if I may, because I find it to be quite an aesthetically pleasing machine, and I, like you, was also operating under the assumption that it was more reliable. But it transpires apparently it's not. So you might need to just put that through a care package. What's the score with it? Is it turning up refurbished or as it is?
As is, good condition one though. Like I say, blue one, 2 blue controllers, which will be handy because I mean, I do really like my Retro Fighters Defender. Brilliant controller. Will still be my main controller, but it's always nice to have a couple of official OEM ones in the background there. I just thought with the sliding doors maybe a bit more reliable than having the how it takes the disc in on the Slims and the originals. So I thought that's a bit less to go wrong, hopefully.
I don't think that's the issue. I think for some reason, and I have yet to do the research because apparently it was the Tolkiens and it wasn't the Tolkiens after all. Then it was the Tolkiens and it wasn't the Tolkien capacitors. But seemingly that Super Slim suffers from the same problems as the OG Fat. So
I will get it. I will get a thermal paste net redone on it anyway. It'll have a little.
I tell you what, if you did that, it would be whisper quiet though.
Yeah, I'm thinking getting that done. Like I say, the chap I used to do all my consoles, I think to just maybe get it recapped as well, get the whole lot done. Be super smooth, won't cost too much, and that'll be like I say, that'll be good. Blue will look good as well.
Blue will look great. That's the bit I'm most fired up about. I'm not wishing ill on the said PS3. I hope it never falters and it never skips a beat. Like I say, aesthetically, I know people say it's a bit of a dog's breakfast, but I kind of like it.
I never used to like it, but now I sort of thought I quite like the look of that.
The more you see it, the crimson red one looks absolutely beautiful.
Because
the blue looks good.
I nearly went for the red because my PS5 is the red.
Oh, yes.
With the custom red LED, and I thought, should I go for red again? But then I thought, no, I'm going to go for the blue. I do like the blue. I think, it hasn't got to match the PS5, so that'll...
Well, it's that royal blue, isn't it? It looks specifically nice, yeah.
So, yeah, looking forward to getting that.
You ought to take tiny little hairbrush and then painting the PS3 in gold.
You've got Subaru Impreza.
I tell you what, you or I could have a go and it'd look absolutely garbage. Send it to Raw Talent, our friend.
Yeah, I'll say get Raw Talent.
He'll make it look good, won't he?
Yeah, me with some of Mrs. RGT's nail polish.
Wow. I thought it was meant to be gold. All she had was puce. It'll have to do. Just imagine it's gold.
Yeah, similar.
Very similar. Did you know that PS3 has actually got its memory sort of hardwired to its board?
Yeah, I did read that somewhere, yeah.
So the hard drive slot is blank. So you'll be able to slot an SSD straight in there and obviously get all the benefits of those sweet uplifts, or as good as the PS3 will give you. But it is definitely improvement. But yeah, the other memory's hardwired on the board. And I think I saw an early Digital Foundry or similar video where they kind of tested the speed of it. Again, I can't remember what the outcome. Oh, well, the outcome overarching was it was no quicker than a mechanical hard drive. But I think the kind of conclusion drawn was that the PS3 sort of architecture could never really benefit from those speeds because it was never designed for that. Standard PS4 had a similar problem, but PS4 Pro, for some reason, just opened up its gates a little bit, so it really can benefit from an SSD implementation. All consoles obviously benefit, but some can benefit more than others. So, but it'd be nice to see that tucked up. Thermal paste ain't a big job for your local guru, is he? Really? That's simple.
Yeah, knock it out of the park. Pretty straightforward for him. So
it'd be an afternoon.
Yeah, and while he's in there, like I say, I'll get the caps done and
is that worth it though on a super slim like that?
Well, I always just think if you're there, if you've taken all that, taken out all the bits while you're in there, you might as well get them done. If you're doing the thermal paste, get the caps done, get it singing it, get it a new lease of life. It's still quite a few years old, so be worth doing.
A little bit of what they call in the trade preventive maintenance, RGT. It's nice to see you keeping the classics on the road. Yeah, very impressive. So, with all that console acquiring talk out the way, so you been playing then? I'm trying to innovate. I'm trying to episode 270, whatever it is. I'm just trying to innovate.
I like
just to break the fourth wall. I'm also in incredible amounts of pain. But we're getting through. I'm a little bit like a lion with a thorn in his paw. You think, oh, go on, give him a hug, and then I'll scratch your eye clean out because I'm that sort of asshole. But yeah, I mean, thanks to RGT, that's why he wears his safety glasses. He's got perfect vision, but he's just scared of getting a claw in the eye.
Exactly. Never be too safe.
No, that's why he wears 2 raincoats when he goes dancing in Soho. And I admire that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And a full balaclava.
Wow. Anyway, yes, so I've been, GTA 4 is done. After we finished recording last week, after talking about it, thought, right, I'm going to jump on. I've got however many, 12 missions left. And we're still playing at 4 o'clock in the morning, like old school Georgie boy did.
Old school Georgie boy.
Are you still pulling 4 a.m., are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't that long ago. I decided I walked Balatro into the elephant's graveyard. Yeah.
So anyway, but I got the last mission and I just couldn't do it. And I thought, gonna have to go to bed. Went to bed, got up on the Sunday, 2 more tries, boof, got it done. Game done. It was very sad to see the game finish. Absolute pleasure playing through that again.
But is it finished? Did you throw its charred corpse on the floor and crotch chop over it because you knew the only thing that was left exposed in its body was the rancid online portion? Or is there more single-player elements within the vanilla-based game for you to unlock?
There's still a few more sort of side missions, strangers and assassins missions to do, which I sort of thought, I was expecting to get me PS3 now, so I'd sort of finished with the PS3 I'd borrowed, so I didn't want to have to carry on playing, if you know what I mean, so I'd sort of stopped. If I'd had it on my PS3, I think I'd have carried on doing those missions, but because I just loved the world, really enjoyed it. I think it took me 38 hours, I think, something like that.
That's about right, I think, for a playthrough.
Yeah, and I've had a bit of little dilly-dallying elsewhere on there and doing these side missions and bits, but absolutely loved it. Really, really good. For a game that's, what is it now, 13 years old, 14 years old, maybe more. 2008 is it, I think?
Yes, to do the maths. Maybe you listen to message into
so 17 years old, my God.
Get your fingers and toes out, RGT. Do it right.
So it's
RGT.
What?
Get your fingers and toes out.
17 years old, just told you.
You did that without taking your socks off.
I know, I'm learning.
I was going to say, a Suffolk man's larger in areas than you expect.
Yeah, he's quite surprising for a Suffolk man. But yeah, there's a guy on YouTube. I think I can't remember what he is now. Electric Reload or something he's called, and he does games for under a fiver on his channel, on his shorts. And he had GTA 4 today as his games for under a fiver. And I did message him saying it's way ahead of his time. That game just finished it on a playthrough on here on the podcast, and I said it's absolutely brilliant. That game, Really good, really good. And I still think that's doing things that modern games aren't doing anymore. Do you know what I mean? The depth
In
of
what way?
the in depth of the city. You know how deep they go within the city with the people talking. I mean, even when you see the final credits and you've got hundreds of names of just voice actors that done
I think
pedestrians.
I don't know as that's a reflection on the industry. I think that's just a reflection on Rockstar's ever increasing attention to detail.
Hmm.
You say, oh, they don't do that anymore. Show me another game of that era that even tried to do something like that.
Well, I suppose the only ones were like your Saints Rows. They tried, but they would never.
Yeah, they never grip for me, and I'll tell you why. And you make a solid point there. It's that granular level of detail and believability of the world before you even start. Saints Row's got a guilty obsession with massive double-ended purple dildos, and for me, I know it's meant to be the playground. Oh, you know, we didn't forget what fun is, while GTA went super serious, and I kind of get it. You got to make a place for yourself, haven't you, in the industry? But no. If I can't go and read a sign on an air conditioning unit up the back of Tony's bakery, they're not trying, are they?
No, it's you could see where they were going with Saints Row, and I did enjoy the second one. Obviously, the first one was 360, I think, when it exclusive.
That first 360 exclusive, it came in strong, but as soon as you loaded it up, you knew it was wrong.
And I enjoyed 2, and then they went a bit all that get out of hell and all that all went a bit off-piste from what Saints Row was, but I did enjoy the second one. And
even GTA, mate, didn't it, really? I mean, it just lost... in a way, from 2 onwards, to me, it resembled more a game like Crackdown, if you remember that on 360. Great little sort of...
Yeah, that's a good
like a superhero sim kind of scenario.
Yeah.
It was very loose. It was enjoyable at the time. I wouldn't say that Crackdown 1 would have aged very well, though, mate, fortunately. No. And in a way, has Saints Row? I
would probably say not.
No.
I literally played Saints Row 2 to fill the void until the next GTA came out, to be honest. But yeah, like I say, I just think that is Rockstar's attention to detail. If you drive past a shop and there's just a tiny notice in that window, if you stop and get out and go up to that notice, there will be something written on there, whether it's funny or silly or stupid joke or someone with a funny name, it will be written on. There's so much detail in that world, and you just think how old this game is. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I just think, like I say, they don't make them like that anymore. I don't think you get that amount of detail. The detail nowadays is more, has it got ray tracing? Is it 60 FPS? How does it run? That's more the details nowadays.
I think that's the sort of... We are in that transition period, aren't we, from baked lighting, from faked... A lot of what we got to with the graphic fidelity at the end of the PS3 era and into the PS4 era was baked in lighting and faked scenarios where it looked fantastic. But obviously now we're in... It's weird to call it that, but we're kind of in this weird kind of Bambi-like state, almost PS1 times, of moving from absolutely nailed on 2D sprites into obviously the very early polygonal stuff of the PS1. We're now moving from baked-in stuff that looks fantastic to ropey-looking ray tracing damn near kills your console because it's working
very true.
So hard.
Right? Yeah, very true.
In a way, one would imagine that a studio with not a lot of funds should probably just sack that ray tracing off and just bake it in, because other than Digital Foundry, who the hell even knows?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ever wondered what a rhythm-based stealth game with dinosaurs might look like? Or a farming sim in space with zombies? Welcome to the Gaming Blender podcast. I'm Matt, and with my co-host Scott, we take a random game genre and random game mechanics, blend them all up, and pitch wild, totally hypothetical games you've never heard of, and maybe shouldn't. New episodes every other week. Hit play and unleash your inner game dev. No coding required. Search the Gaming Blender on your favourite podcast app now.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many windows on Spider-Man you can stick to see your reflection, to see the sunlight behind you in a mirror. You know, in a fast action game, I don't suppose you'd notice too much.
Absolutely
and even
not.
Spider-Man, I had it in the performance mode, the best performance mode I could. So you didn't really sort of.
Thing is, each gen, much like let's go look at the Mark One Fiesta, tiny little car, brilliant. Now, right, because you need to have bigger boot space and you need to have bigger seating area, you need to have a bigger engine. The Fiestas might as well be the Mondeo.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I
they've all
think the
changed
same, the same happens when you go for a bit of a console launch. You kind of stick your stakes in the ground about what makes this different. What's the USPs? And old Cerny trotted out and he's, I'll tell you, it's going to be ray tracing. Yeah, that's where it's at this gen, boys. Yeah, boom. Makes a big fuss about it and almost kind of sets a stall out for developers and publishers to say, all right, the benchmark this gen is to get ray tracing working. That's great, but we're the pawns in that, aren't we? We have some great implementations and we have some bad implementations.
Mm.
And poor old developers, it must be hard to get that right. I mean,
That
who
must be
knows
hard. I mean, if you're chucking all your time into getting this ray trace and 4K, 120 FPS where it works, and then you've got a game that's terrible, who's the winner? Do you know what I mean? No one. Because
the game is absolute arse, but the ray tracing's first class.
it's gorgeous. I can see my reflection in a mirror, but I wouldn't want to pay full price for the game. You know, it's just.
What was that thing you played? Every time I have visions. What was it called? Oh, mate.
Rock A City.
I wanted to call it that, but it was nervous. The name didn't sound right to me. But yeah, Rock A City. Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm playing that tonight.
You know, you're talking to Chuck Norris, and that is it. The rest of it is absolute garbage. Sorry if anyone likes that game, but oh god, dear.
Don't apologise. Get some splinters in your arse and get off that fence, RGT. Is that game garbage or not?
Oh yeah, for me that was soulless. There was nothing in that whatsoever. Maybe if you played with a few friends, you might have a bit of fun, but what it shows,
RGT,
it looks like what it is.
RGT.
Yes.
Are you on the local parish council?
Yes.
That explains everything. Okay, I asked a yes or no answer, and then you gave me like, well, you know, the guys are trying really hard. I don't care. Is it poo or not poo?
That's how we're trained to speak. So
is it poo or not poo?
Like I say, if you had a few friends, you could probably.
Unbelievable.
Oh dear me.
What else have you been playing?
More Mario Kart. Won't go into that because everyone's playing Mario Kart who's got a Switch 2. But yes, more Mario Kart. Finished the 50cc's, got all the stars on that, and then done the special cup. And then done the special cup. And then, you know, you get the roll credits again. And I can go back through on 100cc and 150, whatever. So yeah, really enjoying that. How
are you finding the whole sort of in the wilds open world exploring section of it? Or have you kind of left that for now?
I've only dipped in there a couple of times, but I quite like it. I think it's a good distraction when you finished all the racing. You just think, I'll just have a little drive around, have a look. I think it's quite good fun.
I had a go at it. It's very hard to I just followed the roads, right? And it was very hard not to end up on like doing a loop every time. So hang on a minute.
I don't follow the roads. I just literally go off in the wilds, up in the snow and log cabins and everywhere. Yeah, I just drive literally as a crow fly, see what I can find.
You're so edgy. One could argue a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Do you want to announce your alcoholic beverage sponsor for today? What you got there, friend?
I've got a local brewery to me today. I've got an Adnams Wild Wave English cider. Hashtag not.
We don't promote this, kids or adults. Obviously, drinking leads to depression, suicide, or worse. But one can't hurt.
Well, unless it's Brewdog for George.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had an allergic reaction to that live on air. I don't know what episode it was, but that might see at least 2 people download that episode, so it might go viral by Sunday.
See your 2-month hangover.
Don't, mate, because that's actually the truth.
That is true. And then also I've been playing our challenge for this month. I've been quite addicted to this, and I'm doing rubbish at it, but I still really enjoy it. It's Pinball FX. We've been playing.
Oh, hello.
High score challenge for this month by Digital Monkery. Yes, and it's on the Wild West board. You have to play classic normal on the Wild West board, which is free download the game, and the board is free as well, so it doesn't cost you anything to play. I originally downloaded it on my PS5, but I've also downloaded it on my Switch 2. So I can play it, going to bed at night, have a couple of goes on the board, see what high scores we can get. I think the highest score is 20-odd million. I think my best is about 8, so I think I'm bottom of the table. But really enjoying it. It's great fun.
Do you think your virtual pinball expertise would improve if you weren't squeezing out a log?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it does affect the concentration somewhat. So yeah. So maybe I'll try it when I'm not. But
you need to win one of these leagues because we look awful in terms of. Well, no, we're perfectly qualified, aren't we? Those that can't podcast, those that can compete on the Discord's challenge.
Exactly.
Accepted.
I'm just proving our motto. That's all.
Good. Well, as living proof of that, living embodiment of that.
Yeah, I'm bottom of the table.
Was there any? Is this your new? Is this what we're looking at now? The new games area, or what's going on here?
No, this is that's all Mrs. RGT's Blu-rays and 3D movie collection.
But you're in a slightly different location, forgive me, than you normally would be.
Yes, I'm currently renovating my living room, so this is the part that is done at the moment. So when I finish this, I'll be back painting again.
The magic of the interweb. If that camera turned round, there'd be dead Oompa-Loompas.
Oh my God,
and paint strewn everywhere.
Looks like Del Boy's flat if you turn it around. There's a little bar in the corner, two black dolls.
Turn it round.
No
Turn
way.
it round.
Nope.
Okay.
So that's apart from the hidden gem, that's pretty much all I've been playing this week. So,
okay.
What about you then? What have you been playing?
Oh, cowboy. I don't know whether because I'm playing it in handheld mode. I don't know whether because I've got the screen closer to me, although equidistant, it's the same distance away as the screen would be in terms of ratio versus the TV I've got versus the sofa. I really don't know what it is, but I have been so drawn into Cyberpunk 2077.
I knew you'd say this, yeah.
Now, I've been role-playing because I've completed the game at least once and had numerous kind of experimental playthroughs as different characters, doing it different ways, being a bit of an arsehole, being a nice guy, just mixing it up a little bit, just see what the game would do. But this time around, I'm kind of role-playing as like a private eye. I've got like a trench coat. Admittedly, the only one I can find at the moment is zebra, but I thought, well, it's 2077. Right, work with me.
Yeah.
But everyone wears outlandish stuff. I've got a little sort of almost oil, petrol slick, almost like hat, little private eye hat. And I'm kind of taking on jobs that to me feel like private eye cases. Generally mooching around, still quite early game.
Could I just say, you've reminded me of Crichton when he was Jake Bullet.
Wow. Okay. I ought to rename
Trench coat, cat.
I ought to rename him, couldn't I?
Jake Bullet.
Jake Bullet. I should have done that. Anyway, he's V, right? As you would imagine, because it's Cyberpunk 27. But in my head, I'll call myself Jake Bullet. Just sort of enamoured with the world. We talked before about GTA 4 and its world and things like that. Playing it this time around, again, not rushing for the show to try and cram a review out or try and get some early hands-on thoughts on it or anything like that. Just literally just enjoying it for what it is. And I'm just having a really thoroughly good time, RGT. And my buy-in to... Now, I don't know whether it's obviously when Cyberpunk launched, it was a bit of a mess. And that's... I personally didn't have any negative experience with it. I had the odd glitch, but it was more humorous, as I've often said, than it was game-breaking. Now, I don't know whether it's because when I first got it, I was like, my eyes were scanning everywhere looking for it breaking, like, oh no, I was always nervous. I couldn't just enjoy it because I thought it was going to scramble my save at any moment. Maybe that's why. But definitely this time picking it up closest to my eyes at times when I was looking around in the game, because I took it away and I was in a dark hotel room. I was like, oh, mate, I had to give my head a little bit of a wobble because it was almost like it was almost like a VR experience in a way. like I say, really enjoyed it. I've also been putting the Switch 2 through its paces with some F1 Manager. Have to report that the Switch 2's horsepower has made a night and day difference to my enjoyment of that game.
Yeah.
Night and day. The same for Witcher 3. I said it last time, on Switch 1, I'd play it on PS5, I'd cloud save, I'd pick it up on Switch and think, where am I? Now, not much has changed in terms of the graphical representation, but everything is solid. The pop in and the draw circle around you feels solid. So everything that's drawn in around you is there, and it's got really solid sort of polygonals to it. It's no doubt about it that it's in that world, and everything feels really solid. A little bit like when I described to you, we did a little bit of a soft review of the PS5 Pro, didn't we? And all I could really say was everything just looks really, really solid. There's no flicker in, and it just looks great. And the same could be said for this. I've tried a little bit of MLB on there as well. Again, it is the Switch 1 version, so it's just getting brute force through. But that's made a little bit of a difference. Generally, just been really enjoying everything the Switch 2's got to offer. Like, really just enjoying it. Either dipping into the back catalogue to see, wonder what this is like, because I obviously had a little go on Snow Runner. Have to report that's great. Obviously, I'm still struggling with the blippy throttle, but I don't want to become this is to be the death knife I sink into the Switch 2. There's so much more going on where those paddles matter. Ninty, if you're listening, oh boy, do they matter. But I'll give you a free pass on for now. All right, but my God, sort it out.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have been a day one Switch 2 Pro controller adopter if that had triggers. Because it would have been, they're not on the console, fair enough, it's portable. But if I stick it in at home and I want to hold half throttle on the apex of a bending farming simulator, I bloody will.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, I predominantly play mine on the screen at home, so hence why I brought the controller, because, I like the sort of best controller I can get for that. But, I mean, you might be able to get aftermarket ones that will have the more sort of triggers on.
I think it's more that the games need to be coded to receive the variable inputs, and obviously they're not. I think my other top tip for people who are thinking of getting a Switch 2, if they've got one, obviously I've got the Mark 1 Pro controller, works flawlessly. People say, HD Rumble's not as good as HD Rumble 2. It is. But the one thing that's literally got into my brain, and I love Ninty for this, but at the same time I hate him. Guess what the one thing you can't do with the Switch 1 Pro controller when you use it on the Switch 2?
Screenshot?
No, mate. It's going to niggle you. It's the sort of thing that Ninty plant as a mind worm where you're like, I just can't live without that Pro 2 controller. I can't.
What?
Because you can't wake the console from sleep.
Oh, yeah.
With anything other than the Switch 2 Pro controller.
Yeah, I did hear that, yeah. Oh,
that's the sort of thing that gets in. You're like, I'm not bothered, Ninty. I ain't bothered. And then you pick the controller up, you sit down, you get comfy, you press the button, nothing.
I'll tell you what Nintendo done.
Nothing.
You went, no, I'm not buying a Switch 2 Switch 2 Pro controller. Nintendo, I'm not doing it. And they went, George, you will.
And that's as soon as I realised at home, I was like, They know that you and I know that this ain't going to be all right. Although it's perfectly fine, aren't they good eggs giving us a backwards compatibility? But it is a little bit of like...
and you'll keep forgetting, and you'll sit down and you'll press that button and go, I can't. And you get up again, you press it, and you think...
In a very short space of time, it's going to piss me off to the point where the very next thing I do is go on Amazon and buy a Switch 2 Pro controller. And as I do it, I'm going to hate myself.
You're buying it for one button.
Don't, because it's so rotten. But I've got to, in a way, doff my cap to their business practices because they've been very generous. Oh, yeah, you use a Pro 1 controller. We're cool with it, dude. Yeah, whatever. But you're going to lose that weight quick because you're going to be up and down like a sailor's pants in Hong Kong. RGT, do you want to? Yes. How do you want to go into the hidden gem? Do you want me to? Because obviously you've paid quite a lot of money to the London Philharmonic Orchestra to re-record you a new intro to the
Thousands,
hidden gems.
actually. Yeah, thousands.
I would say the licensing fee alone was somewhere in the region of £250,000 made payable to Apple Music, EMI, and Parlophone. It was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
One wonders if it was worth it.
I'm starting to doubt myself, I must admit.
You ain't heard it yet, Sunshine, so just sit down. Are you ready for the hidden gem, or is there anything else you want to ask or discuss on the playing section before we
No, I'm.
dial zero on hidden gems?
The only thing I was going to say, you reminded me when you talked about Switch 2, is because Mrs. RGT has now taken over the OLED. And just because she had a Switch Lite before, so just to see her, the OLED looks, because she's quite small, so the OLED looks massive. Plus, she's now got that brighter screen. Plus, she can now play it on the TV. So her just sitting there with the Pro controller, which is now inherited, and turning on her console and playing Stardew on the big TV is, bless her. She is over the moon. I saw our experience with the Switch 2, but for her with an OLED. So yeah, she is over the moon with that. Bless her.
I was going to say, I'm really happy for her because it's nice to hear that, and it's also nice to see that you've actually decided to share your hardware with family members.
Well, she's paying monthly, so she's got about 2 more years to pay the interest off, and then that's officially hers. So I've done well.
I got £800
for it so.
right now, mate.
Yeah. So nothing's free in this world. Anyway, so
pays for a Switch OLED. I mean, really, it's just like manna from heaven, isn't it, for the girl?
Exactly.
I guess that's what real love looks like. Yeah, life lessons. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Love and not a fire.
Are you ready? Because I'll get Phil to run the VT. Phil, let's show them where the money went, Sunshine. RGT says, listen, you don't know what you're missing. The world of hidden gems is at your command. He doesn't have a point of view. Just picks out the gems for you. Isn't he a bit like you and me? RGT says, listen, you don't know what you're missing. Call it there, Phil. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, we can't. We only paid for a certain amount of time.
What do you mean?
Has he added the orchestra in? Phil, you added the orchestra in.
Phil, listen, if you faded up track 5 on your great big table, pal, that would have been the full orchestra.
Oh, we ain't done it. Phil.
Ringo. It would have been absolutely... Do you know what?
God. I sold my house and car for that.
Listen.
Jesus.
You've been working on the show for 3 years. I call you Phil. I'm absolute... Don't cry. Absolute baby. I don't care your name's Brian.
Man up.
Jesus wet.
God.
You don't even know my real name. Get a grip of yourself.
I'll be having a word with you.
People think my name's George Brian. Jesus Christ. We're actors, darling.
Get a grip, man. Bloody fool.
No wonder Joe Rogan didn't want him.
Yes. You can see why.
Piss off. Get out. Oh, no, I'm done with you now. Out. Get out.
Don't slam that door. Jeez. Just can't get the staff.
I just don't want people to see me like that.
No, sometimes it needs to be done.
Although we are looking for a new producer, if anybody's got the obviously great working environment. Everybody matters to us, big family here.
Very kind.
Everybody knows your name here at the UCP.
Out, Phil. I don't care if you forgot your pen. Out! Jesus. Right. Hidden gem time.
It's a family show, careful.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want him ruining it for everyone.
I'll be honest with you. He had to just fade up tracks 3 and 4, and it was beyond him. Calls himself a producer.
All he had to use was 2 fingers, and we were there. 2 fingers, that's all he had to use.
Just, honestly, mate, straight up.
Yeah. Well, just go in gently. If you go, the music comes in, you have to fade it up, don't you? So go gently.
I wanted the sting of it. I didn't want the gentle fade.
Wow.
Absolutely not. Just
flip,
blast
it straight away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just Oof, straight in.
Mm.
Anyway, do you want to play the guessing game?
Not really, but for the sake of continuity, yeah, absolutely.
This is developed by Keel Works.
Heel, as in the bottom of a ship.
Keel, as in K-E-E-L Works. Keel Works.
As in the spine of a ship, the keel.
The keel, yes.
Okay, I'm not familiar with their works. You're going to have to give me a couple more clues along the way. A year would be helpful.
Well, the year is 2024. And I'll tell you the publisher as well is Konami. That's got the old grey matter sparking, hasn't it?
Oh, give me the genre. Let's play this loose dog out as far as we can.
It's a shmup, a shooter.
Huh.
Do you notice I said shmup like all the cool kids?
I am never going to be able to pick this out, am I? It's a shmup.
Yeah. Single player game. It's on PS5, Xbox Series of consoles, and PC.
Mm.
I'm hoping that they'll do a Switch 2 port of this because that'd be awesome on the Switch. They're good for shooters. Any idea?
No, I think that when Tom lost his main, I also lost vicariously a little bit of gaming knowledge. I'll be honest with you. I know nothing anymore.
His main used to telepathically put knowledge into your brain from his quiff.
Yeah, I to be honest, I think I sucked off on it. Just,
yeah, I think you did.
You know, just like a miasma, like just an absorption.
Yeah, I think you did. Probably a bit too much.
Well, he's a second cousin as well, so
yeah,
it's probably totally fine.
Yeah, because it is. Especially in Lincolnshire. Well,
how do you think we got to be second cousins?
Exactly. And I'll send the way you boys swim and all. Yes.
Quick.
So this game is a game called Signy. All guns blazing.
I'll be absolutely straight up with you. Never seen it before. But that box art, if you could just hold it up for the camera again. Just tilt it forward slightly. Yeah, that's cool as. Do you know what it's given me?
What?
I don't know if it's intentionally, but what's that game on Dreamcast where you go chasing the white and the black dots? Like one moment you have to shoot the white, and the next minute you have to shoot the black dots. It's an absolutely awesome game.
There was one on GameCube as well, wasn't there?
There might have been, actually. I'm trying to remember the name of it. There's one for community corrections. Let's make sure the listeners are listening. Fire it into us. Tell me what game that was. So you know what it was. It was on the Dreamcast, late release. You shoot black dots or you shoot white dots. If Rose Space Monkey's listening, he'll know.
Definitely, without a doubt.
Is it Ikaruga?
Ikaruga, there we go. Well done. Ikaruga,
It's given me... Well, if you've already typed it in, well done. If you haven't, then give up. It's given me big Ikaruga vibes with that white and dark aesthetic on the front.
Yeah,
it's not, but it's given me it.
It's not quite as bullet hell shooter as that, but it has got bullet hell aspects to it. It's got a little story with cutscene at the start, which is quite nice. You don't normally get that with shooter games of this sort of genre. And it's quite a basic story. Your standard invading aliens. You have to go out and, take out all these aliens and the motherships, blah, blah, blah. It's a pretty weak story.
What was that last game you were playing recently where it was like aliens have invaded the Earth and someone else and someone else? What was that?
I don't know. Was that a hidden gem or was it?
I can't remember. I want to say it was like Earth Defense Force 5, but I don't think you'd have been playing that.
Fired Up on the PSP? That was an invasion game.
If you mind space.
Yep.
Anyway, tell me about this fine looking gem.
Scroll and shooter, vertical. It's got almost like a little bit of a twin stick vibe. You can aim 30 degrees either way with your right stick to help you shoot while you're moving, which is a nice little mechanic. And the other little mechanic I like in it is you'll have 5 shield points. So when you get hit by a bullet, you obviously lose one. But if you're fighting a boss, you can click over one of them points to upgrade your weapons. So then you've got a stronger missile to then fight the boss with. So you could, that's, punishment for reward sort of thing. You can.
Does that
you can
gameplay mechanic? Does that gameplay mechanic only unveil itself during the boss battle stages, or is that something that you can implement?
Yeah, you can just do that. You could swap it over and use it as enhance your weapons if you're confident enough to go through. Yeah, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. You can upgrade your ship between levels as well. It does look really stunning, plays really well. And I just think with these two new mechanics, it's like they've took an old genre that everyone or most gamers love a shooter. They love a shmup. And you can, some of them can feel a bit samey. So they've sort of gone, well, let's just see what we can do. We can have the punishment reward with your shield, swap them over for your weapons. Then you got that sort of almost twin stick vibe to it. It's tough. It is tough, but you can go into the easier mode, which is a lot more forgiving, work your way through, learn the mechanics, as many levels as you can, then jump back on at a harder level and play. And it's very addictive. I mean, when I first played, I was dying really early on the first level. I mean, some of the levels are like 15 minutes long, so they're quite long levels. And I was dying quite early, but not once did I just pack up. I just wanted to have another go and another go. And I think for how much... If you're buying retro shooters like Don Patchy or anything like that, they cost a fortune now.
Yeah,
they cost an absolute. And this game's probably, I think this came out in November 24, so it's probably 8 months old. You can pick this up for £15, £20, this game, physical copy.
When you talk of are you playing up the screen or side left to right? Which one is it?
Up the screen, so vertical.
So when you hope for a Switch 2 port, you're hoping for a tote mode, or would it not work for that?
No, that'd be good if they could do that. I mean, I'm sure that's baked into the Switch like it was Switch 1, and then you could get the special grips to play in the old tape mode. So, yeah, hopefully that'd be awesome if they done that, because on that 8-inch screen as well, that would look stunning on there.
I was thinking that would look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so anyone who's into shooters, I think Carlos likes his shooters and that, definitely, and he's got a PS5 or Xbox Series X, definitely pick this up. I think it's definitely worth it for the money. It's a great shooter. And the thing is, I went off the cover art for this, saw it in the shop. I think I paid £20. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to take a chance on that. And just see, and I've been playing it. Absolutely loved it. I think no one talks about it. I never see it online or anything, or on other YouTube videos on hidden gems or anything. So I just think, yep, give it a go. So yeah, Signy, all guns blazing. Brilliant shooter.
Two things to note. I realised as we were putting some shorts on the YouTube the other day how dark I appear.
You do sometimes. Yeah, it sort of flashes in and out your screen.
I will fix that going forward on the episodes. As you know, I'm a big fan of the video podcast medium. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Means I've got to get dressed in the morning and all sorts. But yeah, I remember back in the old radio days where me and Bobby would just turn up in our pants. But those days are long gone. We're now on video.
Well, to be honest, no one knows if you're in your pants or not now, and I would probably say you are in your pants.
Let's not let the truth get in the way of a great story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Before we solve all of our darkness issues in the Phil, he had one job to do: turn the light on. Useless piece of garbage. Poor old Phil. Going to get letters in about that, aren't we? I know we are.
Yep.
But
we are.
To be honest,
long overdue.
He'll be back next week when we forgot that we wrote him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. I just want to say thank you to the people that sent in clips. If you don't know, this has been on the QT. It's been for the community members that are engaged on the Discord, although we did pop it up on the X, as it's now known, and the Instagram, I believe. But this is the first time for you listeners in the cheap seats who haven't engaged with us on any of the free ways that you can get involved. Now you're going to find out that you can win a full price game of your choice on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Switch 1 or 2, Steam, Xbox, however you fancy it. We can make it happen. All you need to do is send us a 30 to 60 second clip of either you promoing the show, which Carlos did, and he's literally, flying away with this at the moment. Or you can send us a clip of the show that you've enjoyed, that you find funny, that you think other people will find funny. You can send us the timestamps. If you join the Discord, you'll see that Boba's shown you the way. But I'm sure you tech-savvy millennials and down know exactly that's our target audience, RGT. The tech-savvy Gen Zers out there who bizarrely want to hear someone the same age as their dad talk about a game they have no idea about. Just trying to find our niche. It's probably like Food for Dogs YouTube channel. It's probably the sort of 60 to dead range that we appeal to, which I'm stoked. By the way, Food for Dogs. If you've not seen that, you need to check it out. Probably one of the best YouTube channels. I have learned so much from Food for Dogs. It's unbelievable, especially when you're talking...
If you lose your passion for a bit, put Food for Dogs on. She will get your passion into game and back. She's fantastic. Bless her heart.
What an incredible woman. And her story into gaming, to be honest, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's tear-jerking, I'll be honest with you. But from there, she has grown. And her love for the genre holds no bounds. And it's always those niche Japanese bizarre games. I'm like, wow.
These big collector's editions and the T-shirt that's too big she's got on. And you just
she went through her plushes the other day and she had like a full-length pillow. I was like, oh, Food for Dogs. I don't know as that's for the sofa, love, but it. And I really don't think you're the target audience. But do you know what? You can bump and grind that thing, whatever works for you, girl. I'm all good for it. So yeah, before I went on the side ramble, the immortal UCP George side ramble, send us your clips. Now you can send those. You can join the Discord, send us a DM or a link on there. You can send them to us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. That's the email address. That's right. 272 episodes reading it out. Maybe it'll sink in. I don't know. Send us on X. Send us on Instagram. Put them on your own socials if you want to. Either which way, the winner will be determined by the video that has the most views and likes.
Yep.
But if it's and really we're only getting into likes if we've got a double header, RGT. Yep. Two heads are better than one, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
Double the pleasure, baby.
Double the fun.
Triple the fun.
Well, steady. Double will do.
No.
A little double will do, yeah.
Fine. W. So please get involved. We are desperate to give away a brand new full price game for the gaming machine of your choice. I'm going to pull the reins in a little bit if you start showing me special editions and limited runs. But if you can get it on Amazon and it's up to the price of, oh yeah, we've had to up the budget, haven't we? Because Switch 2 might be up to $80. But I'm willing to go there, but we need the content to be good, and I need to be drowning in it. I want to feel like I'm in one of those specialist Japanese videos. Absolutely.
I'd like someone to clip this week us telling Phil off. That'd be a good one to put on YouTube. So
we're literally giving you the toolbox to get yourself a free game.
Yep.
Don't leave me hanging, right?
We had some good ones in. We even had a new YouTube channel, which I'd never heard of, Rogie Retro. He done one as well, saying how much he liked the show. So, brilliant. Thank you, mate.
How did Rogie Retro find out about this?
I have absolutely no idea, but he said he listened to us and he's got a gaming loft. Looks very cool. So I've been watching some of his content and brilliant. So thank you very much, Rogie Retro. Fantastic.
Rogie Retro, and he's probably got his own Discord, probably 100,000 people in it, but Rogie Retro would do well from joining the Discord.
Yes.
There could be a cross-pollination of our guys straight up Rogie Retro's channel.
So glad you said channel.
Well, channel is a passage.
Anyway, yeah, so get your clips in. unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com or on X or Instagram, whatever. Get it clipped, send to us, and we'll upload it on there. And some of them are done really well. So, yeah, fantastic.
Really, really well.
Yeah.
So lots more of those, please. Literally, you have got to do 2 seconds worth of doodling on your phone that you're already doing. Let's face it. Open another tab, clip this up, your Gen Z, target audience, make it happen. This is the sort of thing you do in your sleep with your eyelashes, you kids. Let's have a look at it. And if you're one of the older guys, ask your kids to do it. Easy.
Yep. Done.
That's what I would do. Hey, Sunbeam, come here, win me a game. Clip something funny off this. What do you mean there's nothing funny? Clip some in. Anything. Fine. Strong chance I'll win with that. And there is. RGT.
Yes.
Time for the news to scour the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, it's my go. Yes. Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, the Trinity has been awoken one last time. Well, I say one last time. Again, anyway. Over on Push Square, yes, the Lord and Master of Push Square, Sammy Barker. He oversees the whole of Push Square like some feudal medieval lord. I hope you're well, Sammy. We won't make the same mistake again. Sony reflects on PS5's catastrophic Concord. Here we go then, RGT. Sony vowed not to repeat the mistakes it made with PS5's ill-fated live service shooter Concord, saying it's reviewed its processes to deeply understand how and why the title failed to meet expectations. Speaking candidly as part of a choreographed investors roundtable, PS Studios boss Herman Hulst said he believes some really good work went into the first-person shooter, which was dramatically removed from sale in under a month. They took their own game down in a month, yet I can still buy Black Tiger. Sony, make this make sense to me. It could have found an audience, but no, you let the negative press get in the way and you pulled it down. Herman Hulst had that on his fridge. You know, look what I've made, mummy. No, it's done. But Herman admitted it was differentiated to be able to. It wasn't differentiated enough to be able to resonate with players after entering a hyper-competitive segment of the market. Hearst continued to ramble on. We've introduced much more rigorous processes for validating our creative, commercial, and development assumptions, and we now do that on a much more ongoing basis. And that's a plan that will ensure that we're investing in the right opportunities at the right time, all while maintaining much more predictable timelines. The ex-Guerrilla Games managing director pointed to Marathon as a title the company is taking extremely seriously, and he noted that the team is currently reviewing the alpha cycle that the release just concluded so it can get better, understand how audiences are engaging with it, said Hulst. He also insisted that Sony will not shy away from the live service despite the lessons it's been learning. It's a great opportunity for us, he remarked. While enthusiasts will be fuming to read some of those quotes, it's worth remembering that the vast majority of PlayStation's revenue now comes through microtransactions, and while it's scraping a lot of that money off the top of multi-format titles like Fortnite and Genshin Impact, it wants its own money spinners where it pockets 100% of the revenue for itself. Now, RGT Concord. Concord worked out a success for some people because some people ordered a couple of copies of it and then found out those couple of copies of Sony's cancelled live service game are worth a lot of money. I'd argue they might not be going forward, but you never know. Collectors, they like to boost prices, don't they? But an unsealed copy of a game that doesn't work anymore, to me, has a value of less than 2 pence. But for the completionist, that you'd think they might need to have Concord on their shelf, fair play to you, old bean, but it's not my cup of tea. All that aside, RGT, I think the main focus of the conversation point for this bit is really Sony say they've learnt their lessons, but they continue to push live service games. One would argue that's a company that hasn't learnt its lesson. What's your thoughts?
It seems a bit late for them to be saying they've learnt their lesson. I mean, they would have known a lot earlier in the production of this game that it wasn't going to work. If you'd done your research and looking at what you're making to what audience you've got, surely you would have known that this game wasn't going to be popular by then. And whether it's the case of, we're just going to push through, I'm not sure. But then on the other hand, you've got the weird thing of why take it down then? You've just gained nothing. At least if you got it up, at least there might be the odd sale every now and then. I mean, I don't know what it is or whether it's to save and face or what. I don't know. But
I think that if they'd left it up, there was a potential that the game could have gone into a death spiral. And that would have been... What drives news, bizarrely, is negative news.
I suppose cut your losses, get it off. And,
get it off, get it removed, let it be an embarrassment that people talk about in past tense. Imagine if Concord would still be cooked and it would all be about, and part of me thinks that they probably should have done this, but they should have come up with some post-launch recovery strategy just to try and save some money. But we do know, obviously, that you can cycle these games into a loss-making scenario and write them off against your tax revenue. But I don't know how far down that road you can go before you can pull it. Was it too late for them to claim the money on that as a failed investment? Or, what's happening there? I don't understand it. No,
me neither. And it just seems, I think actually it was probably more of a content thing and something that people didn't want, but I think the actual game played okay and looked all right. I just think it was I just missed the mark of what people actually wanted. And it just seems a strange thing that surely you'd do focus groups and that before making a game to see what people wanted. And is this a game that did enough people say they wanted this for them to go through and produce it? And it just seemed, even from the start, there was sniffs of...
I would say there's potentially, yes, that people said they wanted this. Now, not directly, but certainly based on the back-end information that Sony have got about the games that people are playing RGT, one would have thought this would have been, actually, boss, the big computer says we need to produce this game like now.
Yeah.
That's what people are playing, aren't they?
Yeah, and and then we had all this, Sony concentrating on live service stuff. And overall, when you look back at it now, it's just a game that has suffered because we haven't had the first party releases because they've been concentrating on these live service games that haven't worked. And you just everyone's just left with a bit of a sour taste in their mouth, just thinking, well, if you've learned your lessons, then start getting some big single player games out again because they will sell and people will play.
I want you to picture the scene. Me and you, we're in a boardroom, maybe in Europe, I don't know, or Japan. Herman Hulst is at the head of the table. You got someone from Naughty Dog on the table. It's not nearly as busy. You got a few other Sony PlayStation first party teams there as well. And Herman turns to Naughty Dog and he said, "We're not going to carry on with the Last of Us multiplayer game that you were going to do. We're not going to bother with it. We're not going to bother with it because do you know what? Here comes Jesus. He's Concord. Look at this team of ragtag guys. Look at them. How can you not fall in love with them? Jesus, Herman. I know you're from Amsterdam, mate. That's a stretch. That's garbage. How can they have left? What is a... And the thing is, it would have been called Last of Us, right? Fine. But it would have been the Last of Us universe. You don't need
That's what
control.
I mean. You've already got... It's a secure fan base. Concord is new. You've got to make fans for it. Last of Us already had the fan base. You'd bring a certain percentage of them over, so you guaranteed day one to have quite a few players. I just thought, what? How can you cancel that and make Concord from scratch? It's just like, no. And Sony really seem to have lost their way these last couple of years, and I don't... Whether they thought that the single-player big story games were coming to an end or people didn't want to play them or they'd noticed a drop in sales, I don't know. And they've tried something different, but it's backfired big time.
I reckon I think the thing that made them move their needle in terms of their whole business operation was the player retention on their own single-player games versus the multiplayer shooter games, Fortnite, Warzone, whatever. People get in at night, they throw the keys in a bowl. It's not that kind of party.
I was going to say, this went off piece.
They keep their keys.
Right.
For once, it's a very innocent slip from me. Threw his keys in the bowl, sits down, his cup noodle, can of Monster, a Burger Bite crisps. He's like, I know, but I'll just want to play some Warzone tonight. And I'll be on till 4 a.m. Imagine Sony's mega computer screaming, "They love these games, Herman, they love them. They absolutely love them. Look at what they're playing all day, every day. The day you brought out the biggest game, they didn't touch it. They played Fortnite. Wow. I think we need a piece of this.
Yeah, the problem is they're already established titles that have been going for years, and people go back and follow them a bit like your FIFAs and your NBAs and bits and pieces to trying to bring a new dog into the pen. And it's going to be tough from the start. Whereas, like you said, if you've got one that's already linked to an established IP, you've got more of a chance. I would have thought, especially in the live service world.
Because I don't believe the ban hammer's been brought down on Herman Hulst's Pet Horizon open world Chilby universe that he's building. Can't wait to see that absolute dog's breakfast land on the doormat. I'm going to be about as into that as Lego Horizon. That absolute gangbuster success. Mwah. Unbelievable. So first class, darling.
Yeah, it's like I just said before, they just seem to have put all their eggs in one basket. It hasn't worked, and they almost seem to be right, let's apologise. So we learnt a lesson. Where do we go now? What do we make now?
But we turn a corner. Obviously, this year we're getting Death Stranding 2, we're getting Ghost of Yotai. Is that them learning their lesson, or is that them just serving us up what they already had in the bag and the next game?
I think it's just lucky that they had them in the background working away on. So it's a good job they did, I think.
Isn't it?
And no disrespect the way Xbox has gone of late, I think they're very lucky. Because if Xbox were really knocking the games out, big first-party exclusives, then Sony would have been in a lot more trouble.
There's a universe not too dissimilar to our own, where instead of Xbox sort of grinding out, not very successfully in their mind, this gen, people talking about, they've gone multi-format and blah, 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 done this and done that. Actually, the slew of games. In a slightly different world with slightly different momentum and a slightly different spin from the gaming media. What are Xbox doing wrong? Not doing anything wrong.
No.
In fact, they're doing it all right. But now we live in a universe where all those great games that they've been incubating are actually popping for someone else's machine.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair...
And it's a good job they are for Sony's front.
For Sony.
Yeah, it's a good job they
top 10 developers this year are Xbox.
Yeah.
What world are we living in?
It's mad, isn't it? It's
and
crazy.
I feel like dragging them both in here. Let's sit down, Herman. Here you go. Uncle Phil, grab yourself a pew. I'm the headmaster. I'm like, what the hell's going on with the pair of you? Absolutely disgraceful behaviour. Clip round the ear, bang the heads together, send her back in the playground. Unbelievable.
It's very strange times.
I can't quite bump my mind off the track that as gamers, we are a lot more responsible for this mess than we realise. We say one thing, we do another thing. We don't make a lot of sense, RGT, especially in the metric of a customer satisfaction survey or what would you like next. I think they just need to double down and just focus on making great games. We talk of Microsoft and PlayStation and incestuous loving RGT as we seamlessly transition to your piece of news. What have we got?
Well, this is over on Pure Xbox.
Father, Son, the Holy Ghost.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this needs doing.
This is by Fraser Gilbert over there at Pure Xbox. PS5.
How's he doing?
He's good. He's good. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah,
give him my best.
I will do. PS5 execs questioned about Xbox moving away from consoles in official Sony interview. Well, this is something we didn't expect to see in a new Sony Fireside Chat featuring a bunch of PS5-related executives. The speculation of whether Xbox might be leaving the traditional console business was brought up. Specifically, Justin Hill, who is SVP of Finance and Investor Relations at Sony Corporation of America, asked this question. Many investors are speculating that Microsoft is moving away from the console. If that's true, is that good or is that bad for PlayStation? The answer was delivered by Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Hideki Nishino, who's the person you see in the image up above if you go onto their website. He's advised that competition is a good thing for PlayStation, and it's not just Xbox that provides it, while also stating there's no urgent need to pivot on Sony's console strategy in his eyes. Here's the answer. Yeah, I was thinking that. Pivot. Here's the answer that Nishino gave. So we think that competition in the business is healthy and pushes us to innovate. There are multiple participants who together drive the overall gaming industry, and while there are new engagement models being explored, we ultimately think this is a good thing. However, as I mentioned earlier, we are confident on our current strategy. There isn't an urgent need for us to pivot, but we will continue to monitor play patterns appropriately as required. Now, before everyone goes panicking, we've already heard that the next Xbox console is on the way in some form, and that it's expected to be an Xbox Series X successor arriving in 2027. The speculation stems from a belief that it might be more PC-like than in the past, potentially supporting the likes of Steam in addition to current-day console games. The reality is that we don't know enough about Xbox's console plans for the future right now, but clearly Sony doesn't need to pivot from the strategy that's proved successful with the PS4 and PS5. Xbox's next system might end up taking a different form as a result, but the signs suggest Microsoft's not moving away from the console market entirely. Interesting. I mean, I can understand what people are saying now. I think they've not quite telling the truth, Sony, there. I think we're saying, oh no, we're confident in our strategy, blah, blah, blah. No, you've made a bit of a left-wing strategy move. It hasn't worked. And because of Xbox's current situation, as we said on the last article, you've sort of weathered the storm more than what you would have done if
got away with it.
If Xbox were actually neck and neck with you selling consoles and they were releasing Indiana Jones, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and that was all on their console, you could have been a different story. Could have been a big different story. So,
best case scenario for Sony, it ends up being a slog to the death like PS3 versus 360. And I'll be honest with you, although they had a great go off the back of the PS4, I just don't think they've had enough in the war chest to see that out. Absolutely not. Especially with all the money that they'd already started sinking at the end of last gen and beginning of this, they'd already sank multiple millions, possibly even knocking on our door billions, into several failed or soon to fail in that moment live service games that maybe didn't even see the light of day in the end anyway.
Yeah,
I'd also say the thing is, we're sat here. Sony's revenues are up, the profits are up. You could say it's a failure. It's obviously not a failure by any metric, but the thing for Sony is the only measurement of success they have on themselves, and our only measurement of success on them as a business, is their previous wins historically. And PS5, it doesn't even have the ability to claim the cult status of PS3 or something like that. It doesn't have it.
No.
It sold well. It's probably not going to outsell PS2 in the long run, but it sold very well, especially considering the higher price of the base unit to get on board the train. The ticket itself went up this gen quite considerably. And I've hinted about this, but the price to get onto the PS6 train, especially with every single accessory they're doing, going to be $2,000.
Yeah, well, we had guy on our Discord, HG Games, who was talking about the rumored prices for the Xbox handheld, which is coming out. Well, technically, it's a Rogue Alloy sort of reskinned one, but they're also going to be bringing out their own version. But they were talking sort of $600, going up to the top versions of $1,000. And you start, and I know some of these Rogue Alloys and these Lenovo's handhelds that they do are pricey, So for the next gen hardware, I mean, if a Switch 2's launching at $450, I mean, like you were saying before, I think we could see some big figures being launched for these new consoles. And I know
they're going to have. I was just going to say they're going to have, just for the optics of it, they're going to have to be below $1,000. But I think that's going to be a struggle for them. Because I think the biggest complaint from the PS5 gen is, where's the upgrade? Where is the upgrade? Now, again, I went down the Pro route, so I kind of ruined PS5, and now I've gone down the Pro route again. PS6 is going to look like a bag of garbage. I know all that. I know that. But man alive, the generational lifts these days are minimal.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, getting more like PC. They're very, very similar PC based inside. And we know if you're a PC gamer, I mean, let us know. Jump on a Discord, email us, let us know. But we know the pain of your guys' wallets when you have to upgrade a graphics card, or it's big bucks. So to release a console that's similar to a PC with those parts in, it's obviously we know they take losses on consoles, but after a while that you can't get that loss too big. It needs to be something coming back.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. I think, me personally, do I think Xbox are moving away from console? I don't think quite yet.
No, they've got another gen in them.
Definitely another gen in them. I don't think Games Pass has gone anywhere near what they were hoping it to do. Hence why they've sort of launched it on many different things. Will they go down the Steam route? I don't know. I think people have Steam on their Steam Decks and on their PCs. Is it a place? I mean, it would be sort of the only console to have it. I know there was rumours of Steam making a home console. There's been rumours for a long time that they were going to make their own Steam sort of console for at home. But
I mean, one would imagine, just to cut in there, if they were going to make a home console, I think it would be a Steam Deck without a screen. Kind of a ramped up version of that. And they don't need to go much further. And I'll be honest, RGT, playing the Switch 2 as I am right now, we talked during the Switch 2 review about how the Switch 2 had managed to catch up in a way and sink its coattails definitely into this gen. It can hold its own within, and by this gen I mean the gen it's arrived late to, that's very nearly over, much like the Switch 1. But they've got their grease limits in the back of it. Now, the ability for it to perform on a level with the Series S, the ability for it to be on a level where it outperforms PS4, a console where you can still play some of PS5's biggest hits, God of War, Ragnarok, etc., etc.
Yep.
Is that fidelity that we've reached at that point just enough to convey a good story? Is it enough to be graphically beautiful from an artistic point of view without going any further? I'm kind of trying to insinuate that I think we're in this world, it's been talked about, diminishing returns of pound. For an extra £100, you're going to be able to see the face fuzz on your Cyberpunk character. Well, no disrespect, guys, I don't really need that. Fine, play it on the Switch. Totally cool on there.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy at work the other day, and he said to me, out of the big three, Switch 2, Series X, PS5, or PS5 Pro, let's go PS5 Pro. If you could only have one of them now, what would you have? And I said I'd have Switch 2. Out of those three, I would go Switch 2. And it's basically because, yes, in docked mode, it's not as powerful as a PS5 and it's not as powerful as Series X, but you're getting 4K gaming. It looks very good, 60 frames per second. You've got all your Switch library and you just pop it out of that dock and you just carry on playing your games. And it's very, very close now. Whereas before,
mate,
you had a PS5, a Series X, and a Switch because it just weren't quite there for the TV.
But
it was.
I 1,000% agree with you. But my big nervousness, and they're not exactly hiding this fact, I do believe they're on with doing it themselves, is much like the Wii caused Sony and Xbox to panic and they independently developed the Kinect and the Move. I feel like the Switch is making them panic, and I can see them do something absolutely ridiculous, like making a hybrid machine. Now, my question to you, RGT, you've just said Switch 2 would love it if it was my choice. Xbox would go in the bin, PlayStation be in the bin. I'd kick it down the street to the local orphanage or some other worthy cause. And I'm just happy with my Switch 2. Would you feel that if PlayStation launched a similar hybrid console, you could see that being your main bro? Or is it too late for what do you want from gaming? Because I think this is the message that we're sending. It's very confusing because we're raving about Switch 2, but then the idea of Sony sort of imitating that makes my skin go cold.
I think also you've got to remember as well, this is the second, creation of Switch. This is the second version, and they seem to, on our opinion anyway, not everyone's opinion, but on our opinion, they seem to have ironed out a lot. They've brought it closer to the consoles, and they've ironed a lot of these issues out, but they've learned. They've had 8 years of Switch 1 to learn. They've been, what do we need to do on the Switch 2? We need these Joy-Cons. The rails aren't very good. Do you know what I mean? We need the buttons a bit bigger. They want a bigger screen. We probably need at least 1080. We need 4K and all these little bits and pieces done. We need that USB-C port on the top. All these little problems done. Now, for PlayStation to do this or Xbox, we know they're doing their handheld, but this is almost like, well, we don't want to do a Switch 2 clone because they've done that, and then we're just going to be accused of copy. We've got to do something different. And you just think, well, you're starting from scratch. Yes, we've had a Vita. Yes, we've had a PSP. But as an actual hybrid, I mean, what are you going to do? Because Sony would probably want it to be similar to power to a PS5, but then how do you get that into a handheld? I mean, it's going to be walking around with a lot of briefcase. It's going to...
It's a Steam Deck issue again.
Yeah, and again, because it's going to be their first iteration of this hybrid console, there's probably going to be a lot of teething problems with that. And on top of that, it's going to be expensive. It's probably going to be double the price of a Switch 2. And you just start to think, well, do you need to go in that market? Yeah, you're right. And if they go and dabble in that, sorry, it's been done. It's been done very well. You stick at what you do, all right? Xbox have gone down a different route. Sony, you do the same. Stick to your...
It's that awkward moment, in it, where Switch grew from being the cook, it's now in a solid relationship, and then its old girlfriend turns up dressed as a... Hang on, and it's XX. It's Xbox. Yeah. And place... Guys, you're embarrassing yourselves. You're not swingers.
Yeah, I know, and it's just... And the three of them have different strategies anyway. Just double down on your strategy and stick to it, all right? And there'll be room for, at the moment... Me and you and quite a few other people in Discord have all three. That's what you want people to do, to buy all three. Don't try and jump in on the other one's party because they've already mastered that. Do you know what I mean? Cloud gaming and Games Pass, that's the Xbox thing. And especially cloud gaming, that's probably the best way to play if you want to play cloud gaming. Cloud gaming. Cloud gaming, I'll get there.
I never heard you make one slip up. I was ready for your next nugget, to be honest with you.
And then PS5, get back to your big single player games. Your big first party titles. Get into that. Start getting some some big storylines out from Naughty Dog and Insomniac.
Keep raising that visual fidelity as well.
Yeah, just keep going, and don't try and jump in. They tried that with PlayStation Premium and. They've had the odd day one release and bits and pieces, but if you all just do your own thing, there's room for everyone. Don't try and jump on everyone else's bandwagon.
Hey, mate, what with Stars cancelling recently, I was thinking the other day, I can see Premium getting literally slashed. They kind of dipped in. I don't know if they're going to stay. Why would they? I bet they're running the metrics. I bet those classic retro games that they're bringing to the premium offering, I bet they're barely getting played.
Do you know what? I was so excited when they announced all these. Do I play them? Do I hell?
No. And I think that's the problem. We say we want them. They spend the money converting them, spend the money putting trophies in them, and not even our own rabid, Platinum Devil, my ginger red-headed stepson, as per the show law, he's not even touching him with a barge pole.
No, it's again, it's something that a lot of people shout about but not really use. So
I hate to say this, mate, but OG Tom was right.
Yeah.
So go back to Series 1 and tell me how many times that dude's been right, because people think I'm getting it right a lot of the time. OG Tom.
No, bang on.
It's 10 years in the future that kid's living in. I tell you now.
No, very true. Absolutely bang on. So, yeah, back to the original point. Are they moving away from console? I don't think so. I think they're going to test the water with this sort of Rogue Alloys skinned Xbox, see how it goes with Games Pass on. I think could be quite popular. Handhelds seem to be the talk at the minute, but
I think they're getting themselves into a place where they can maybe push that Xbox on everything. But I think this next gen, not to serve up a console and just say, well, you can play Xbox is absolutely around and you can play all our games, we'll say for free, but for XYZ a month. Okay, so it's not free precisely, but we can certainly get into a place where you think it is. I think if they didn't release a platform that you could stick under your TV, even if it was just a cloud gaming server bouncer, dude, I think that the press alone would kill them. I think they need a platform. I don't know what that looks like. Like I say, whether it's an absolute rip snort or 4 Xbox Series X taped together with HDMI stuck on the backside. I don't know what it looks like, or whether it's a tiny little thing that just literally streams it to your TV, just so you feel like you've got that standalone thing. And maybe it has a preloaded menu where the actual cloud thing doesn't begin until you press go on the game, and then it dials it out for you and brings it back. Having the machine literally solely be a menu selection tool would mean it would always be snappy. You could get away with a Switch processor in there if all it's got to do is sweat an asset on a screen. Although we don't want it like the Nintendo Switch shop.
no.
We don't want that experience. But what I'm saying is, it could cost them relatively little to get on board. There is going to be the sort of cold hand to some of the more remote parts of the world where this thing has to have a constant internet connection to work.
Definitely,
that's another one of those kind of bad news stories that you are struggling to circumvent in this era if you decide to ditch an under the TV box.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the metrics look like, but definitely one last gen left in both of them, I think. In all three of, obviously, the current big boys that are playing in the game, I think they've all got at least one gen left in them before either calling it or moving to some sort of cloud-based future.
I think so. I think Nintendo will always. I think they'll always have a platform. I think they'll always have a console. They seem to do their own thing. They prefer that. Whereas I think when you get like Xboxes at the moment seems to be dipping its toes into different areas. So as you know, it's tried the cloud gaming. It's now trying a bit of the handheld console. You've got the consoles itself. You've got your digital consoles. They're almost like putting the fingers in all the pies to see what sticks, to see what is going to work. You know, but I think you're right. I think Xbox will go eventually just cloud.
They've put their finger in lots of pies, but never really made any of those pies taste good.
No, you're correct. I think it's almost, rather than, they almost don't want to risk going all in. They went all in with Games Pass, and it just hasn't quite got the momentum they wanted. So at the moment, they're just tentatively, we'll do a handheld, but we'll get Rogue Alloy to do it.
I'll say this again, mate. Games Pass, if you were to do your market research and then focus that market research on Netflix, right, which would make sense, yeah, Games Pass seems like a really great idea. But what no one forgot to realise in that moment was there just aren't enough gamers, and there aren't enough gamers specifically on that platform for it to ever work.
Yeah, we've said this before, the day and date, how good that is. The extra sales and the extra subscriptions you would need to have regular AAA £150 million titles being released, the metrics don't add up on that. They don't work. A great system and a great idea, but...
Hey, mate, and what I would say is, if you're in the ecosystem, fair play to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fair play
Definitely.
to you. In a way, you're winning 100% for yourself.
Yeah. For a consumer, definitely.
But step back a minute. You can only pump that whale so long before it's dead. And as an Xbox user right now, you're killing your own platform. I know it sounds crazy, like, well, I'm not buying full price games. They're giving them away. I know they are. But you and them in conjunction with each other are killing that platform.
To the
Games Pass
extent, well, they've now selling them on the competitor. So
Games Pass is absolutely great. But we need a few 100 million more people on Xbox alone. I think it's, like I say, from a consumer point of view, absolutely brilliant. From Xbox's point of view, awful.
Yeah. Money wise, it is.
And as a few other people, journos and whatnot have pointed out, it's literally trained their ecosystem to shun their own store. Because I'm really excited Indiana Jones is out tonight. You're not buying that, are you? Yeah, I'm buying it tonight. Yeah, I'm going to get the physical. What a moron. Dude, just get it for free on there. Oh, yeah. Okay, well. And even Xbox is shying away from doing, nice boxed games for their own platform, even. I just... If that ain't enough to tempt them to go out and spend money on the thing that Microsoft have blown the kitchen sink at, actually developed a game that's gone over reasonably well. And actually, I'll say we're guilty of doing a disservice on the show, and I've always been a big, pusher of this. Flight Sim. That used to be like 80 quid when you went and bought it for your old school PC. Back then.
Yeah. And
now
then all
it's
your
free of charge.
your updated maps and bits and pieces you could buy afterwards. And yeah.
In a world where microtransactions were deemed to be a little bit shady on the internet, you were like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
People must have been banging frustrated bloody BA pilots sat there blowing their mortgage on an expansion for Honolulu or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
What, are you going to fly there? No, but I like the idea I can.
Yeah.
This says every person that bought DLC ever.
Yeah.
I think let's rest it there. I think we'll go round in circles all day. I'm hoping as the next generation begins RGT that the fog thins and we can see exactly what they've all been fighting for. It's the Wild West still in a way. And when the smoke has settled and dust has cleared, I think we'll know exactly the right direction to go in. And we might find out that 2 or 1 of the big 3 has took another misstep and they're done. Because these towers, they're big and they're full of cash. More than imagine. They've got to be made of glass. You've only got to be one bad game, one misplaced social media comment, and the groundswell in this modern era of social media and outrage.
Yeah, and
it's a fragile world anyway, isn't it?
And the thing is, as well, when you invest in, like I said, 150, 200 million pound in a game, and that game don't stick, people will vote with their wallets, and you will know very quickly that has been a failure. And you don't need many of them missteps for that kind of money to suddenly, we're not doing very well here. We're in the red a bit here. So, yeah, you could be doing well 1 minute in the games world, but you can soon fall. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this next gen, I think.
The first article I found, I've misplaced, so I've grabbed another one. Are you ready for it?
Well, certainly am.
As we said, this is part of the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy. Donkey Kong 64. This is courtesy of Nintendo Life and the sexy little man Liam Doolan. Switch 2 sets all-time launch record for video game hardware in the US, beating the PS4's record with the help of Mario Kart. Give me more details, George. Fine, I will. Following Nintendo's news about the Switch 2 becoming the fastest selling Nintendo hardware ever in the US, we got some numbers to go with it, courtesy of Sakana's analyst, Matt Piscatella. According to Piscatella, this is an all-time launch week unit sales record for the video game hardware in the US. Over one... That's... Nintendo stockpile, dude. With over 1.1 million sold Units sold weekend in June 7th, 2025. The previous record was held by Sony's PS4, and the sales calculated here for the Switch 2 exclude My Nintendo Store purchases. Additionally, 79% of US buyers purchased the Switch 2 exclusive launch title Mario Kart World on release, either physically or as part of the system bundle. On the software front, Mario Kart is leading Switch 2 physical game sales in the same location, followed... Now, this dude's gone with what I went with. Or half of America did anyway. Let me put my head on for a moment. I went full Lincolnshire there. Let's rein it in. On the software front, Mario Kart is leading Switch 2 physical game sales in the same location, followed by CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 in second place, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition in third. My God, guys. So unsurprisingly, the new Mario Kart has dominated software sales on the Switch 2 in other regions in the first week. Early this week, Nintendo officially announced that Switch 2 had sold over 3.5 million units globally in its first 4 days, making it the highest global sales level for any Nintendo hardware ever in this time. RGT, staggering numbers there being thrown around. Now, obviously... Switch 2's momentum's probably going to maybe plateau a little bit between now and I'll predict it might not, because the fever for the console seems to be absolutely rabid despite some of the clickbait articles about how garbage the Switch 2 is or how badly they've messed up. Guys, honestly, give it a rest. I know we all need opinions. And by any metric, it's not the most powerful console on earth, and it's not this, and it's not that, and you wanted this from Nintendo. It is what it is. But what they've delivered is exactly what you asked for.
Well, the thing is as well, if you look back on these certain YouTubers, their videos were, what do I expect from the Switch 2? They wanted better Joy-Cons, they wanted a bigger screen, they wanted better graphics, they wanted 4K, they wanted, certain things changed on the console. They've done it. What's
I don't
his name?
Understand. Scott, that beat-em-up guy? Bring him here in front of me. Get his long hair down. Get him bent down in front of me. Bring me the cleaver. I'm having his head clean off, and I'm going to stick his head on a spike at the end of the Farmerton Drive so people know that I am done with this clickbait drivel.
Yeah.
Done with it.
Yeah, I just think, I think to what I wanted from the console, and I think they've delivered on everything. Even down to the eShop just being approachable and easy to use.
The biggest grind I get is the price. Like, honestly, people have disassembled the PS5 Pro and you found justification for every single capacitor in there, right? And the price point. How? If you remember, one of my predictions was it was going to be $499, and that was going to be a tough gig for them. It's $450 with Mario Kart World.
Mm-hmm.
By any metric, sold separately, should be an 80 quid game. And is.
Yeah. And I think also you got to think you've got a home console and a handheld within that.
And let me tell you this now. When the dust has settled and smoke has cleared and all the Switch 2 launch fever has died down and all those morons have done their maybe I got it wrong with the Switch 2 videos as a transition back to getting into penis in their mouths. Okay, when they finally arrive at that point, no, RGT, I tell you how it is. It's exactly like that. They'll be telling us how great the machine is.
Yeah.
And we got it right from the gates, and I believe we were the right side of history. There are some negatives. I went into them. In handheld mode, the Joy-Cons have you looking around like a kid who's had way too many monsters, right? And forgot his ADHD medicine. Okay? It's nuts. Some of the implementation of the launch games, apart from Mario Kart World, what we're looking at here, we're looking at a PS4 game. Some would argue not that strong a launch lineup. Oh, what? You've high-res. Okay, so it's free to the people that have sipped the Kool-Aid, and it's 10 quid to the people that haven't. Let's see the new things coming through. I think would be my second argument. I think the game chat camera, big flop. I'll be honest. I think it's a big flop.
PS5's never kicked off the PS5 camera. Who uses that? I used it for streaming, that was it.
In my cupboard, never even been unwrapped from launch day. I'm hoping that might be worth at least £2 in a couple of years. Right?
Maybe. I just used mine for streaming, that was it. Other than that, I don't have it out. I just don't see the point. I don't even know what it was made for. What it was actually
for that,
used for.
for that. But Whereas the PS4's first camera kind of came with some innovative gameplay ideas, implementation of the sensor bar, people forget that Astro's Playroom launched as a Astrobot was there day and date to make that camera look cool. He struggled.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up really being a kind of VR life support for the Aged Move sort of combination that had going on there, didn't it? And really, ultimately, Fisher-Price, my first streaming tool. Guess which clown used that camera to stream his Minecraft stream?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me, right? And it was grainy, and it was dark, and it was a mess, right? It is what it is. But that camera, I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like that's a bit of a dead-end street, if I'm honest. But then we look at the rest of it, and we think, yeah, impressive. Bigger buttons that we asked for, the bigger screen real estate that we asked for, the ability to run more modern games that we asked for, less compromises that we asked for. We've got everything we asked for.
Yeah, I don't know what people were expecting. I really don't.
Could they have made it more powerful? Yeah. But then where would the price point be?
And also there's an idea that there's a certain real estate a Switch has, and they're trying to stick within that. If you start then making this PS5 levels, I mean, it's going to be huge. You're not,
One thing I noticed is I've got my Portal carry case because of the ergonomic grips. This thing ends up being deep, it's wide, it's portable, but it's on the edge of not being portable. I like the Portal, but the Portal's fading into insignificance off the back of the Switch too. Because I can play that in a field in the middle of nowhere. I don't need the internet for it.
No.
But equally so, that flat aesthetic means you can slot it between two folders in your school bag. No drama.
Yeah. So we'll
come
see
Christmas time again. That will launch. That will, as every little Johnny and Johnette around the world starts to write their letters to Father Christmas, and number one is Switch 2. They're going to see an absolute uplift in sales between, I would argue, mid-October and mid-December. It's going to go gangbusters for them.
Yeah,
and I hope the other two are going, what we're going to do? I don't know. You better get out the discount hammer. That PS5's got to be at least 150 quid. That's we're done.
Yeah.
Maybe wrong, but it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. RGT, that brings us to the end of the news in what I would call a hearty discussion between two grown men discussing children's toys. It's 2025, and this is completely acceptable.
Without doubt. Well, I hope it is. Because we've done it.
Says every criminal ever.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to share with the community before we dip into thanking them and I ask you what you're hoping to play, and then we kind of jump on this sort of almost tandem-like Vespa that we've got?
I'd just like to say thanks to everyone for your clips this week, who's been doing the clips for the show. Been great fun seeing them, and Carlos and Boba, and even the one about me, which was very...
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I uploaded that onto some of the socials, but sorry, Digital Monkery, I'm not putting that on YouTube, mate. I'm just not.
It was it was funny though, very good. But yeah, thanks to everyone who's done that, and new people doing it as well. And it's great to see, and makes it all worthwhile when people promote the show and say, look, we really enjoy listening to these two idiots talking about games and what they're playing at the moment. And so it makes it all worthwhile. So just thanks to everyone for that, and keep them coming.
There you go. I want to be surprised. I want someone who's a complete stranger to the show to show up in my DMs or my emails or the show's emails with literally the best clip ever. Because at this point, I'm starting to think, well, there's a prize, no question. We've already discussed it. It's a free game for the big boy who gets the most likes and the most views and shares and all that. But I'm starting to think there's a secondary prize, probably for some UCP merch, the clip that I find funniest personally. Is that fair?
That's fair, yeah. Yep.
So we have taken the budget and we have blown it.
Definitely.
Clean the doors off.
Well, we ain't got Phil's wages now, have we, Sue?
I'll be honest with you. I forgot midway through the show that we'd written him out. So he's back.
Oh.
And I ain't got the heart to do that to imaginary character again, to be honest. He wept.
He did weep. Quite heavily, actually.
It was awkward. You know when a man weeps too much and he's sort of snot's coming out his nose.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like this and
he went fully in Beale on it. Fully in Beale.
In fact, what he said to me is, I've got nothing left. All right, Phil.
Yeah. Just do it properly.
So you claim to have sent to me the list of subs.
Yes.
True to his word, he has as well.
Yeah, I have.
Start off.
Don't ever question me.
RGT.
Yes.
No matter what tier you're on, you're getting your name read out at the end of the show, correct?
Oh, by God, yes, you are.
Let's just say I've listened all the way through this. I'm a plucky young scrapper of a man, and I think, do you know what? I can't really get my head around the fact that I've not been into these two guys before. But damn it. The only tier I'm interested in is the one where I get a T-shirt. Tell me what tier that is.
That is the $10 tier. So if you go top tier, you get your name read out in the show every week, as we will be doing in a moment. You get the quarterly Zoom meetup, which we do, and now we also release those as a show. You get, I can't remember. You get access to the Unglorious Chat, which is the chat room for the subscribers on the Discord channel. You will also get yourself a yearly art merch fridge magnet. You will also get yourself a yearly art merch mug. And you will also get yourself a yearly art merch T-shirt. Full shebang, the full works, full English. There you go. Bosh.
Do the maths, guys.
Yes.
We're making zero money. Okay? And if Games Pass can say this, where else are you going to get yourself a free T-shirt every year? You're not here. In 12 years' time, you're going to have a T-shirt for every single month. You're not going to be that smelly gamer anymore that smells of Watsits and burger balls.
Like me.
You're not. Yeah. Like you. You're not going to have rancid monster breath like me. You're going to have a
me
fresh... As well. Okay. All right. You're not going to be covered in cheap Coca noodles anymore. Oh, well, at least...
You're just reading out my description, aren't you?
I'm reading out your Tinder bio. You put the same thing on Grindr. I've just got another tab open. You've got the same drivel on there. Except the pictures are slightly different.
Yeah.
Gotta say...
You got to play to your strengths.
Yeah, stick with what you got going on Tinder. I just think that it leaves a little bit more to the imagination. I think if you've seen it, you don't have any kind of... You don't build up the anticipation for it. Because I think I
thought I'll go all in, whole hog, snap, put it up there, while you go.
You broke your penile bone.
Many times.
God be with you, my friend. Okay, let's get stuck in. I've no idea. At this point, I just don't know. Okay, so we've done the tiers in the UCP classic way. Thanks for listening. If you're watching on YouTube and you can make any sense of my pixelated video, fair play to you. Some of the subs money we've invested into camera quality. This is as good as it's going to get, so I hope you're enjoying it. Hi, Mum.
She's a webcam from 1989.
Oh, she can't use it anymore for her special sites, her chat sites, because she's lonely.
Yeah.
But, I bought it off her, blew the show's budget on it. People say, you need to get a better camera. This is as good as we can get. If you want us to get a better camera, sub. Simple.
It was plenty good enough for the Commodore 64 it came off, so it'll be plenty good enough for us.
I wonder where that was going. I'm glad it went there.
Yeah.
Let's get the names read out.
Yes.
So first name, bizarrely, RGT, on the list you've sent me, the first name on that list is Retro Gamer Thomas.
It's probably because I sent it to you. So
right, okay.
Not very good with tech, are we? Not very good with tech.
That's why we play consoles, because we don't
Exactly.
want to see : each other. We just want to play some games. We're not those,
Steady.
you know, we got girlfriends and things. If we didn't, then we would see : each other. In fact, to be honest, I think I'll be a little bit higher than a colon. But I don't know where that is. I don't know what that is, really. Anyway, Xenox, the greatest man from Sweden to ever live. He out-invented the guy that made Minecraft. I'll be honest, Xenox even out-invented the guy that made IKEA. And in fact, he's part of the team that assembled PewDiePie in a lab.
Wow. I just wonder where all this comes from every week. Just straight off the top of the noggin.
No, I just open and it comes out. If I've offended anybody, unsubscribe.
No, don't, please. Next up, we have the one-man
You're
George.
down there filling the holes as I'm just blowing more in the hole. It doesn't matter anymore, RGT. Yeah. They like us to be more real.
Yeah, and the holes are getting bigger. Next up, we have the one-man George fan club. It is Carlos. Thank you very much, my man. And your shorts have been brilliant.
He's not the one-man George fan club. He's the one-man clip factory. They poured out of him like blood on a battlefield victim. It was unbelievable.
He oozes clips.
The one made that clip where it's like, have a look at this. Have a look at this. It's just the twang in his voice and the sort of excitement stroke disgust as he pulls the duvet back and there's a myriad of consoles covered with like screwed up bits of tissue. and it's like, if this sexy mashup is your sort of thing, UCP, blah, 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 as the camera pans back, there's a Dreamcast with its flap open. And he reaches back into shot and he says, oh my God, cover yourself up. You're showing everything. Oh.
Brilliant.
Carlos,
absolutely brilliant.
I think what I've learned is that really you're the new boss of the UCP. I'm ready to hand over. When you're ready, you let me know and I shall pass the baton, Carlos, because that is comedic genius. I feel like brilliant. John Lennon and Paul McCartney having just met Bob Dylan. It's like, wow. We thought we could. We're nothing to you. Who's next?
It's your turn.
How can it be?
Because I just read out Carlos and you don't.
I know, but then I fluffed him up. Okay, up next. I tell you what. If you've ended up on hard times and all you've got is an old ring pull from a can of Top Deck Shandy, and you want to trade that up to £1 million, well, I'll tell you what, you start off. Oh, yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. You took it off sometime in around the late 80s, and you've been wearing it as a signet ring ever since. But if you want to trade that ring pull signet ring up to something where you never need to work again, then the best thing you could possibly ever do, if you had a hole in your arse, is to follow Firm Returns on X. There, you will learn to get know more about him, and you'll find out more about his trading prowess.
Hey, we got from Top Deck Shandy ring pulls to X is unbelievable.
Only on the show that calls itself the UCP could you have that. And he gets that for, well, technically he does sub, so it's free. There is a sort of...
So it's a bit of a Games Pass thing going on here.
There's a pay-to-win element to his engagement, there is. Who's next?
Next up, we have Trestles of New York. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Trestles.
Yes, thank you, Trestles. You'll always be in our hearts. We even recorded an episode there, so just go back through. I think it's called ASMR Trestles, as we ate our way... Was it Thanksgiving?
I do believe it was, yes.
We ate our way through the menu. Quite probably one of the best produced episodes we've ever done. Thanks, Phil. You did so much right once, mate, but since Series T...
Is he still crying? Stop. You can stop now. You got your job back.
Mate, it's not a straight cry. Sometimes when he cries, he gets a little bit randy, so he's still crying. You're absolutely right.
I was going to say, what's he doing? Is he hitting himself? Oh, no. Okay. Okay, Phil. Jeez. Whatever you need to do, son.
We've already voiced that he's an imaginary character. The fact that we've imagined that out of an imaginary character says more about us than it does about anybody else.
It does, because I can actually see him, which is worrying. But
let's see if I can do this without killing the mic, because obviously...
you're going to have to volume it down and do it on a very calm, Not excited George with too much panda pop. We need calm George.
Everybody stand up, sir. And everybody sit down, sir. Tante belle cose. Bada bing sta tante belle cose. Stammi bene. Ciao.
Wow. Very good. The mic didn't cut out, so you've done very well. Thank you, Bada
So
Bingster.
we've got a full European, worldwide vibe going on with the subs because we've got a man from Sweden, we've got some Americans, and we've got an Italian man.
Yeah, very, very worldwide. Next up, we have the RPG connoisseur himself, Tingle Tuner. Thank you very much, my man. Thank
mate,
you very much.
I tell you one thing I've learned about Tingle Tuner is he knows his way around a bazooka and he knows his way around a rocket propelled grenade. He's an arms dealer in his spare time.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think your painkillers are kicked in. Who we got next?
All I see is a sea of letters.
They're kicked in.
Through that cloud, I see a hallucination of a monkey, one that went out with its partner doing some policing and got shot up badly in a old steel mill. Anyway, we brought him back to the UCP towers and we basically turned him into a digital monkey. And he's now the robo cop of the Discord.
That was actually very good. I wondered where you were going to start with, but actually ended bringing it back. Very good.
One thing you got to remember with me, RGT, is just enjoy the ride because the end location, the ending is always a disappointment. But the middle bit,
I tend to think of loaded gun. I normally think of you as loaded gun. So once you fire it, just hang on for the ride because you don't know where it's going.
Well, it takes two men to back up a hose of that ferocity, RGT.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the wonderful Gaming Graham. Thank you very much for your support, as always. Long-term support.
Beautiful man. Very. Up next, he's a man who likes a Brazilian. I'll leave it there. It's ball border.
Next up, we have Game Brand.
Now,
did I go a bit far there?
No, I. It's not like us to have a conscience, but I feel a bit guilty because obviously we uploaded a clip about very early days to him, talking in detail about the MCN Comic Con hotel room. I wonder if going brown. I just don't know if it's really got a good ring to it anymore. I feel a little bit like we're invading his privacy. When he was like a single man ranger, it was okay going Brad. It was all part of the macho machismo of it. Now, I don't know if I want to be associated with RGT. So, going forward, I think you do that. I'll just shake my head disapprovingly.
Marvellous, thanks. My apologies, but thank you very much, Boba, for your support.
Who's at download right now? Absolute gangster.
And I love. Did you see his present? His good lady got that massive Pokemon.
Oh, mate, is that what it was? Because I messaged him.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, mate, don't.
What have you done? What have you done? Oh no! I think. Well, I'm not really into Pokemon, so I don't know. But I thought it was one of the big Pokemon characters.
I don't really know anything about Pokemon. I thought he was a furry, and
Oh no! What have you done?
I thought someone was in it.
Anyway, who we got next?
Just sat on his sofa looking at him. It looked like a full furry. It's massive.
He's huge, yes, but maybe I got it wrong. But I thought it was a big Pokemon, cuddly sort of plushy thing. Ooh. Anyway, who we got next?
What was that noise?
I went, oh.
Why?
I have no idea.
Going brown. Up next, my beautiful auburn-haired hero of a son. He's not my son biologically. Doesn't mean I love him any less. He's absolutely swollen in every way a man should be. It's Ginge. Who's next, RGT?
My God. Next up, we have the Lord of Darkness himself, the wonderful Harvey Retro, who I think
play
is
to him.
probably still on his Oblivion playthrough.
Well, as luck would have it, I
got his-
believe he is. He has literally turned his whole house into the set from Oblivion. He's got his missus walking around as a Khajiit, okay, offering people skooma. Well, now, talking to people that do good things for the show, Emma Sharp, you need to enter the Clip Quest, honestly, because what you've done for the show over the last 2 or 3 months out your own pocket, touring the world, hosting UCP panels, has been absolutely incredible. I caught the shot that you loaded to the Discord of the advert you pay for in Times Square. Obviously, all of us hanging off the Goonies one. Looks so good. So thank you for that. Emma Sharp, everybody. Round of applause.
Yep. Thank you, Emma. I mean,
if you want to do right by the show, you take a leaf out of Emma's book.
Tour the world.
See the world, don't listen to the show.
Yeah.
Up next, who we got?
We have got the wonderful Greg, who, as always, is nowhere near Berlin. Thank you, Greg.
Coming up from the rear. Probably going to do this quite viciously, if I'm honest, is Mumsy.
Yeah. And then I get to read out the best one, which is the RGT fan club. Thank you very much, all of you. Really appreciate it.
Imagine the plot twist when it transpires. That's me.
Yeah, well, don't ruin it. Just give me something to hang on to.
Imagine the plot twist when it transpires. It's just you.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Jesus.
I am.
Jesus.
Up next.
How bad would it have to be?
It would have to be pretty awful. Up next, another victim of the top tier, is Pete Brocklehurst. Now, back in the day, before Pete was born, they used to have these great big concrete metal balls that would swing around on the end of a crane. As soon as he was born, they were superseded immediately by his kneecap. Because what he then did, he'd just walk up to the corner of the building, just give it a knee. The whole thing would come down.
Yeah. He used to play Conkers with him.
Jesus. Some would say that both kneecaps are beyond sixer by some measure.
Without doubt.
Who's next?
Next up, we have the wonderful Billy Marmite. As always,
I hate him. I absolutely despise him.
Yeah, but some love him, don't they? You know, and some prefer his brother.
What's his name?
Richard Bovril.
Oh, Dickie Bovril?
Oh, Dickie, yeah. Some people prefer Dick to what they do Billy.
Yeah, thing is, yeah, mate, because I tell you what, Billy Marmite, he's got a yeast infection. No word of a lie.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that from Dickie Bovril, do you? No.
Nope.
Dickie.
Anyway, who we got next?
Up next, tell you who we have. Ripping straight out of biblical times. Simon Pryke.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Simon. And this obviously leaves me again with this one, doesn't it?
Now, I'll tell you, now, I'll tell you what I want from you this time, darling. Okay, let me set the scene.
Please don't.
Okay, please don't. No, please do.
My mum listens to this.
Dude, you are like the ultimate. I'm your dom and you are my sub. Okay, this is how it goes. You protest, but it's only part of the routine. And I admire you for it because you.
Sorry, Mum.
Just Google it, Mum. It's going to be all right. Okay. So, anyway, what we've learnt over the course of getting to know the wonderful Fat Zangief is that he's obviously got body dysmorphia because he is actually, and has been renamed on the Discord, Ripped Zangief.
Mm-hmm.
My washing machine broke the other day. So I just popped over to Manchester and scrubbed my dirty undies up and down on his chest. Immaculately clean within minutes.
Wow.
But what I was going to say is now we know he's not like a rotund Zangief, and he's really ripped. And I'll be honest with you, he's in great shape. I can see veins popping out of him, up and down, the whole shape of him. He looks incredible. Now, with that in mind, RGT, I want this to be. I think last week we went into like a little bit of we kind of role played the idea of you exploring a little bit of an innocent side of your rips and geefs.
Oh no!
But this time, I want you to come at this literally, metaphorically. I want you to come at this like a world-wise 45-year-old man. It's not your first Zangief, not by a long chalk, but this one catches you a little bit untoward. It all feels very formulaic, almost habitual. It's almost like loading the washing machine. But then something just catches you, and this Zangief comes up from the very bottom of your toes.
Right.
You're an actor, darling, okay? When people work out that we aren't who we say we are, we're just actors, they'll realise how good this show's been. Until then...
yeah, and I'd also realised I'm not actually a very good actor, so...
Well, this is your chance. All jokes aside, we're resting the show law for a minute. This is a chance for you as...
Maybe I could be Buttons in the Panto this year if I get this right.
If you get this right, the only Buttons in Panto you'll be involved in is Undoing.
Right, let's nail this. Right.
No, you... Okay, no.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
And action.
Oh, fat. Zangief! How is that? I feel I really got into the role then. Started slow.
Don't you ever...
blasted.
Don't you ever do a Zangief that realistic in front of me again.
It was very realistic, I can assure you.
Every single board you'd ever tread suddenly just kind of came up through you, and you channeled it. It was absolutely incredible.
I was quite pleased with that.
Phil, one of your duties is to pass out the hand sanitizer when he's Zangiefed. Nice.
Yeah. Cheers, so.
Yeah. So, now you've Zangiefed, and I'll be honest with you, tasted a little bit different to normal. What are you hoping to play?
Well, hopefully if the much talked about PS3 turns up, then there's a few games on there that I want to jump onto. I think I've got one called Singularity. I'd like to try that. So there's a few games I want to play on there. Obviously a bit more on the Switch 2. There's a game I want to order this week. Can't remember the whole name of it. That new Rune Factory one looks very much like Harvestella, so I might dip in my wallet and get that. I think it won't be Harvestella, but I can always pretend. I've
got a ringside seat for this disappointment as it unfolds over the next couple of months, haven't I?
Yeah, pay £60 for a complete clone that looks like a mobile game. But also, I keep thinking about getting Cyberpunk as well. I've done the 5-hour trial on Cyberpunk, the PS5. It didn't stick with me. I didn't quite like it, but it's just something. I don't know. Something seems to be telling me to buy it on the Switch too, and I think it's having it portable. And I'm quite tempted.
Yeah, but how often do you play the Switch 2 Portable at the minute?
Well, I've got a holiday coming up in a couple of months, and I keep thinking, do I play it and hang on? And then that could be my big game that I take away with me.
Do.
Come on.
How on God's green earth do you expect the listeners to take you seriously when you suggest just for a moment that you're going to go on holiday with just a Switch 2 handheld, right?
All right. I know I'm going to have a suitcase full of other consoles, but...
And the dock.
And the dock and the TV, but...
And the PSP just in case.
Yes, but I've got plenty of room in the back of the car. I will be chauffeured. So for the journey down there, I can just sit there, cyberpunk my way down, be fine.
I love how Donna has to drive you down, but also has to wear the only clothes that she can get on as well. Because she can't. She's got no room in the suitcase. So she's wearing like 4 or 5 pairs of pants,
2 weeks.
4 or 5 pairs of socks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you're going for 2 weeks? Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah. Oh well.
What else you playing?
Yeah, so I've got another actual hidden gem I'm working on at the moment. So I've been playing that. Obviously, I won't mention that yet. So I'll play a bit more of that. And I've got to, as I've been doing.
What genre is it? What genre is it? What genre is it?
Racing. And because I'm doing my living room up, I want to get I haven't set my Evercade back up, so I need to get that back up. So I've got quite a few cartridges I want to get stuck into on there. So that will be pretty much this week.
Oh dear.
So anyway, what are you hoping to play other than your complete Evercade collection, George?
I'll get there one day, no doubt. What am I hoping to play? I don't know. Hey, I'm just going to keep burbling along on the Switch too.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, indeed. I'm also partway. I got the Lando DLC and thoroughly enjoyed it, although there's not really enough sabacc in it for me. And I'm halfway, maybe more than halfway through the second one, the Pirate's Fortune. This one's not grabbed me as much, to be honest, and you've got to do like a base infiltration, and I wasn't that keen on them to begin with, so I've tried shooting my way through, and I've literally got a stack of corpses from the floor to Tatooine itself, right? It's massive, but there's an ATST in there. Now, in other Star Wars games, Fallen Order, etc., you can actually take on an ATST, admittedly in a slightly more tighter controlled, almost set piece. But you're not a Jedi, and you can't take down an ATST. So I get in there, kill everybody, just have enough health to have a little look round, but then the ATST just lands a shot on me and I'm dead. And it's
no.
I'm going to have to kill all these people again. Outrageous. So I might have to look at a guide to find out the door I'm meant to go in through. But the last door I tried in there, it was like, you haven't got a key pass to get in here. I'm like, oh, God, after everything now. I just want to have fun and be Star Warsy. But it's a small blip, no doubt, in an uneven path. So I'm looking forward to it. And mate, much like Carlos, I mean this when I say this, I'm getting Outlaws to the Switch. Of course I am. Of course
Double dip.
Did the tongue need to come out?
No, definitely not.
I don't think it did it?
You took that down a different route then.
I think I did. And I'd imagine that's all we have time for this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time. Look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. And remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, RGT.
Later.